Hi there, Serial Trader here. Just want to do a quick update, and actually all I'm going to look at is the S&P 500 futures, so the ES futures. And okay, so we had this correction, right, from early September to early October. We've had this big impulse move out of it. Obviously, that impulse move appears complete, and I mean, there's different ways of counting it, but looks like you got a 5-wave sequence to the upside, and now you're at least correcting that. Now the question is, did that terminate a much larger sequence, and we're about to go into a big crash or huge correction? Maybe, but for now, until certain things happen, I think we should be kind of on watch for just another buy the dip event, and new highs to come before we eventually get to that much larger decline. But okay, let's just get into this. So the low here from early October to the absolute high, and let me just take away the 38.2% retrace. Okay, so right now we're sitting roughly around the 50% retracement area, and I haven't checked recently, but I think we're pretty close to the 50-day simple moving average as well, at least on SPX. Last time I looked today, it was pretty close to that. So if it's going to find a bottom, this is kind of a clean area for it to do so. So very possible that this is just the initial move up, and this is the correction of that move up, and then we got more upside to come. Like, okay, just to paint a scenario, this was just our initial one up, perhaps of a larger 5. Maybe this is 2, and then we still need the 3 and the 4 and the 5. I'm not going to extend them out, but you get the idea. Still more of a sequence of the upside to unfold into December, maybe possibly into the first quarter of next year, at least part of it. Okay, so that's kind of the premise here of a potential long entry. Now, where does this fall apart? I mean, technically, we can go all the way, do a deep retracement. As long as we don't take out the October low, okay, the early October low, technically this will be an internal retracement, and we should still be focusing on another upside move. Break that, and then I think there's a strong case that we're at least correcting the entire move off the March 2020 COVID lows, if you want to call it that, and possibly even starting the correction of the entire sequence from the 2009 lows, but that's just a different conversation altogether. Now, if I go to the 4-hour chart here on the futures, let's see what I'm looking for here. Here, let me just get this into shape the way I like it. Okay, so does this look like a potential corrective sequence? I would say it does. I think you got the possibility of an ABC down, and let me just work it here. So ABC down, I mean, you have to go in the short time frame to put exactly where you want the sub labels, but you get the idea. ABC down, ABC up, and now potentially just another ABC down. Okay, and that would be for a larger double zigzag, something like that. W, X, Y. Okay, you see where I'm going with this. And here, I'll get that X where I want it, kind of like that. Okay, and okay, now you'd be looking for, let's say W versus Y equality. That would be a common thing. Okay, so we're pretty, we stabbed through it briefly, but looks like we're, bouncing off this area. So we have roughly W-Y equality in the double zigzag. It's quite typical. We're at that 50% retracement of the previous, major impulse wave. And if this area holds and we start getting some action in the upside, and keep in mind this was the first trading day of December, so when you usually see inflection points, major tops or bottoms, often the last trading day of the month or the first trading day of the new month, around that kind of transition period. So here we are, all these things. And if I bring up, let's say RSI, so we made a lower low in price, obviously, but a higher low in RSI, so bullish divergence on the RSI there, at least on the 4-hour. You get the idea. So the ingredients for a long entry are certainly here. Now, if this just, okay, if we get a little bounce up, but it fails, and we just keep going down, and we keep going down, and we take out that early October low, and it looks real nasty, then okay, we're not just doing, a buy the dip off the new highs again scenario. But until that happens, I mean, we've been, I don't know if you want to say suckered or fooled, but we've certainly been misled so many times all along this entire rally. Oh, this is the big one. Oh, this is the big one. And so far, it never was. It will be at a certain point, but to me, can't really embrace that too strongly unless and until we take out the early October low. So I'm certainly trying along here, starting small with the futures. Initially with a bit of a looser stop, so don't get cheesed out by a little spike down tomorrow morning or whatever to take out the stops. But once that does happen, I like to add and maybe tighten up the stop once that stop running move happens, if it does happen. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up. Oh, also, if we go to the VIX VVIX tool, now this is obviously basing off SPX, but same idea. There's no, ingredients for a buy signal yet. I mean, we're making new highs in VVIX, we're making new highs in VIX, so no divergence there. We're making new lows in SPX, so there's just no divergences between any of these. So the preconditions that you'd be typically looking for would be, new lows in SPX, but lower highs in VIX or lower highs in VVIX or both. It doesn't matter. But right now there is no divergences. Everything's kind of working in unison. SPX new lows, VIX and VVIX new highs. So that doesn't encourage me as much as it would if there were some divergences. But nonetheless, I can't fully embrace that this is quote unquote the big one just yet. It could be, but it needs to do some more work. And in the meantime, I think it's at least worth attempting a long trade here. Also, I'll just mention, December, you got the seasonality in your favor, Santa Claus rally. Of course, that doesn't have to happen, but it so often does, right? It very often does. So with all that, and certainly a viable pattern to work with, potential bullish pattern, I think it's worth at least a long attempt. If it fails, then we know where we're probably heading, and it's probably going to be much lower. But cross that road when we get there. Anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Anyone that's wondering what's going on, midweek here. And we'll certainly touch base again probably on the weekend. Serial Trader, signing off.